by a show of hands, who of you supports Amendment 66, which is $1 billion tax increase on the backs of the citizens of the state of Colorado?
Where I won't answer a yes, no question. Because
Independent
I
of this
haven't decided yet, and I'd like to talk
debate.
about why I haven't decided.
And why is that relevant? It's every voter
It's
makes their own
extremely,
decision.
in my opinion,
Then
it's
don't answer.
extremely
The
relevant.
school
But
board
you
doesn't
have
have
the answer.
input.
You choose not to
Can
have one vote.
you ask us which one of us oppose it?
Okay, yes, who opposes Amendment 66? Okay. All right, I appreciate all of you taking the questions from the audience. I appreciate all of your questions. I know you probably have more. We just don't have time. We're already getting close, and I would like to give each of these candidates time to do final remarks. And again, just please get out there, be civil with one another, be respectful, get out the vote. That's extremely important. Thank you guys again. And if you guys could put one chair back when we're done, I would greatly appreciate that. So with that, Meghann, we'll just start with you and go down the line for any final remarks you might have. Terry's like, no, you're not. Terry broke it. 1.5 minutes, Terry.
I want to thank everybody for coming this evening. I really am gratified to see the level of interest in this race and the level of involvement that everybody wants to have. You heard a lot of things tonight, a lot of opposing views and a lot of positions. You know, I want to address a couple of things really briefly. You know, when you talk about the level of funding that goes down to a classroom versus the level of funding that remains with administration, keep in mind what the administration offers of services. They offer busing, they offer food, they offer special education services, they offer a whole range of services that don't get funded otherwise. So just keep that in mind. I appreciate the conversations around performance pay. I think that our teachers need to be treated like professionals. I believe that they are incentivized to come here when you talk about rewards for them. And I also believe that people understand a reward for a good job done. And I'm really proud that our teachers have worked with us on performance pay. Choice in education, I think that, I'm sorry. That's all right. Choice in education. I've released a new video on my Facebook page that I'll be linking to my website to talk about the special relationship we have with charter schools and all the ways that our district has expanded its partnership with charter schools. Really remarkable some of the things we've been able to do that are not mandated by state law. That could actually be taken away with a simple vote of the board. And finally, our world-class education. You know, we've done a really incredible job with our educational programs, and I'd love to talk to anybody about it afterward. Meghann Silverthorn. Thank you.
Rhonda, we'll go back and forth. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say let's just go down the road here, but we'll go back and forth. So
This is like totally confusing.
sorry. Yeah, I know. Come on, what can I say?
Obviously, a lot of things said here tonight, and I would encourage all of you, please do your own research, because each side has numbers. Some are true, some are not. You have to make the determination as a voter which one is. What I will say, you know, I'm looking at government, and I am in favor of small government. And again, as I said at the beginning, you know, when you have a large administration staff that just keeps growing and growing and growing, this is not good use of my taxpayer dollars. Good use of my taxpayer dollars is putting teachers in the classroom and resources in the classroom so our students can be prepared for college or the workforce. That is what good use of my money is. I actually knocked on a couple of doors today, or several doors actually, but talked to a couple of Republicans who actually are going to give me their support, and I appreciate that. But one thing they said to me, which was kind of an interesting question, which I couldn't answer, was if we have this large contingency fund, it just keeps growing. And while that side will talk about how much of this money is earmarked and it's carryover funds, they asked me, well, why don't they do it like the state used to? Remember when we used to get a check back from the state when they balanced the budget and they gave us our money back, the overages? So they asked me, why don't we get a check from the school district? I think that's a legitimate question to ask. If there's money that's carried over each and every year, and every year, and every year we see the same amount of money going over, why don't they give us back to us if they're not using it for our children in the classrooms where it does most good? Ronda Scholting, I'm running in District G.
Judi?
Yeah, education is a
about the kids. That's what we need to focus on. We need to be offering opportunities to our kids and to our parents. There's opportunities that they want for their kids, for an education that suits that particular child best. As far as fiscal responsibility, this district has been incredibly fiscally responsible, especially because we are one of the lowest funded districts in the state. We do more with less money than any other large district in the state. We provide opportunities for our high school students through concurrent enrollment in college classes, through AP classes, through IB classes, and through career and technical programs that we have to train kids that are not college bound. I think those things are vitally important to our future. That's what we need to focus on. We need to be putting our dollars in the classroom where it's appropriate. We need to be supporting our teachers and supporting our kids. Judi, Reynolds, District D.
So thank you all for allowing us to come here and talk to you tonight. I know for some of you it's difficult to hear us speak, especially, if you think we're Union or Democrats or whatever we're supposed to be. All untrue, by the way. But for those of you who have kind of been following the politics of what's going on lately, it's not supposed to be about politics, is it, when we run for school board? It's supposed to be nonpartisan. But we've seen a lot of political ads out there. We've seen a lot of paid consultants' opinions that talk about whether this reform effort is good or bad. Many of you, I'm sure, in this room probably got this hand delivered to your door. This was paid for by Ted Harvey, Frank McFilty, and Kelly Lawrence. It's, again, a full color glossy article about whether or not Douglas County is the most interesting school district in America. We believe that Mr. Hess was paid by district funds to do this. We know that Bill Bennett was paid by district funds to do his $50,000 opinion about Douglas County being interesting. Saying something is interesting and actually being interesting and effective are two very different things. We do not see what we are hearing talked about actually happening in our schools. Our kids are suffering, we have morale issue problems, we have turnover. Look at the turnover. So this was the year before this board took office. That was our administrators, our principals, and our teachers. Look at the turnover we've had since they've taken office. And I have supporting documentation for this from the Colorado Department of Education website. We have a problem and they are unwilling to admit it, and I will not stand by and allow my children to be affected by it anymore. I'm here to serve the children and the community, and I truly am. I'm not taking any special interest money. I have no political ideology. I am here for the kids. Julie Keim, candidate for District D.
Julie, Dr. Geddes.
All our education systems are under a lot of stress from national finance, and I can assure you that higher education is under a lot of stress. It sounds to me, in reviewing what's happening here, that this board has done an excellent job in making judicious choices. They're tough choices. It may cause the elimination of an art program in one tool in lieu of something else. Unfortunately, we're making those choices. As our economy increases and a greater funding comes into the state treasury, I think a lot of these problems will resolve. I'm very proud of this board for doing the job they've done to get this district on good financial stance. They've extracted over $3 million out of administration and put that into the classroom, and they have also set aside 1 month's pay as a rainy day fund. So it's about $17 million, and that's judicious. It's also saved us $160,000 a year and not to have a letter of credit. But I'm running out of time, and what I'd really like to say is that it's about the students. It's not about the teachers. And the labor union, the teachers union, has been unsuccessful in improving education in K-12 in this country, and has hurt education. We are falling further behind. We need to make important changes and get back on the right track and put our students first and our parents first. And that's what this board is doing, and I would intend to do as a board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Geddes. Bill.
Oh, no. It's actually more, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sorry, we're kind of out of order.
All righty.
The number one impact to a student is the teacher. So you can't put your students first if your teachers are last. Agree, absolutely. Students, very, very important. But we must understand that. Our students are being taught by anybody else but the teacher. And we've lost 2/3 of our elementary principals in the last 3 years. So under this board, we've lost 2/3, and that's documented, of our elementary leadership. Just like when you have a head coach leave and they take all their best players, guess what's happening here? So don't be fooled. Please talk to parents like myself. Unlike my opponent, I have chosen public schools at Douglas County, not private schools. I have a 7th grader and a 9th grader here, so I am very invested in what's going on, and I want to make sure it is the best, for what's happening is for the best. And honestly, again, don't listen to what everybody says, watch what they do. This was just released on the 15th, so we can see where campaign money is coming in. If the parents were so supportive of what this current board is doing, why aren't they funding this campaign? That is just simple, plain and simple. So please look at this and remember, it's District B, B for Barbara.
Thank you. First, to be fair, I think people deserve to know I do have an opinion. I do approach issues in a certain manner. I approach them as a conservative. I'm not a blank slate. I don't have no beliefs at all. I believe that local control is the best, and I get frustrated sometimes when people think Denver means local. And it's expected of us that when we're sitting in Castle Rock doesn't mean local. Local means we need to find the right decision makers for the decisions, empower them to make them, and hold them accountable. We've done that with schools by providing them the flexibility to budget as they see fit for an art teacher if that's what they want, or a music teacher, in conjunction with their parents. That is what we have tried to do. We have also, the union is an issue, and has been an issue, because the union wasn't serving the interests of the district. And like any other vendor, they have to serve the interests of the district, or they won't do business with us. They were taking money out of the classroom, and they were not, and Bill was participating in that. It was inappropriate, and it was wrong, and we ended the relationship. With respect to turnover, it's fascinating to me. Our turnover over the last 3 years is less than Bill's from 2002 forward. Bill's turnover was greater. We attracted 14,000 applications for 400 openings last year. We had, yes, teachers left the district, but more teachers came to our district from neighboring districts than left for other districts. We are doing the job, and we're going to continue to do the job.
Doug, you really give me way too much credit. Comparing the results 2008-9 to 2012-13, we have the number of students and district administrators have increased. The number of teachers have decreased by 1%, resulting in the average class size increasing by 11%. DCSD has not been able to regain its accreditation with distinction rating from CDE. CDE has lost its first place rankings in math, reading, and writing. We've decreased instructional hours in high school by 7%, nearly 3 weeks less instruction in each and every class. Graduation rates have kept pace with the increasing rate in the state, but remember, DCSD lowered the bar by reducing graduation requirements by 6%. This board has conducted more than 50% of its business behind closed doors. The communications department has quadrupled in size in the last year versus putting dollars back in the classroom. And this board has funneled a donation through the Education Foundation, completely contrary to the foundation's mission, that being to raise private donations for our classrooms, not to pay an outside consultant $50,000, if not illegal, certainly unethical. And finally, the turnover rate is 10% and has now risen to 12% with this board in the last year. I'm Bill Hodges, candidate for District Director E.
Okay, unfortunately,